Hello guys, welcome back. Welcome to the last week of May. So henceforth I want to categorize everything together. I don't want to separate the pairs, so I just want to do a combined video of everything together. Okay, so henceforth I'll just be dropping one video per week because I was quite busy with a lot of things, so I couldn't meet up doing video every day and keeping you guys updated. So I just want to pick up on all the pairs that I generally look out for. So I'll be starting with DXY, then gold, BTC, US30, GBPUSD, EURUSD, and oil. So these are all the pairs I'll be looking out every week. Sometimes my mentors still give me some assignments, so I still put them at the bottom of my other pairs, but for now this is the major pairs I'll be looking into. So let's kickstart everything and let's look into how it is. So this is DXY and this is DXY. All right. So this is DXY, and what are we looking at on DXY? I'm supposed to label this with a lot of text, but I don't want my chart to look very rough, so I'll just leave it. Now DXY created, oh, this is not supposed to be here, this is supposed to be here. This was the first high, and this is okay, this is the first low. Okay, so we can this is the, let's say this is the swing low, this is the swing high. So price came here after breaking into this zone to form a new higher high, and price came down here to form a new higher low. So price tapped into the previous higher high but couldn't break out, came back, didn't touch the previous low, and created a turnaround W pattern to push price to a new all-time high. So that signifies that we are bullish, which we have a new all-time high here. So what we're expecting is price to use this previous resistance to form a support to form a new higher high. But what do we have here? Now let's take a deep dive into what we have in here and see what it looks like. All right, so when price created a new higher high, price failed to hold this resistance as a support, but price was fighting its way up to, we can see we have a bullish candle here, price dropped, we have another bullish candle here, and we still have it from here. We have a W pattern here, bullish here to push price up, but price came back again with a strong evening star. Okay, let's go again. Price pushed a little, price came down again with 1 2 3 evening star again. Okay, price pulled up again with a morning star, 1 2 3, and pushed, then it crashed finally. At this junction, we were dabbling in this zone for I think about a year, if not up to, but a long time. We're doing all this up and down movement, expecting price to push up. Now if I have a secret recipe that I usually like to see on a higher time frame, which is changing it into chart. Now if I change this into chart, I quickly see that we have a push to the downside, and we have a lot of exhaustion here. You can see this became an impulsive push. This becomes a correction, so it gives me a sense that we are supposed to continue the sell setup. So this just gives me a push, a correction, a continuation. In my group, I dropped this for them as early as I think probably January. Yes, I dropped it as January that DXY is going to go for a long sell this year, because he has just created, I think then it was like this. Yes, I was hoping for a third touch around here or so, that DXY is going to have a third touch, but all the way DXY just failed to create a new high. So to understand this zone better, I think we need to go back to weekly, but the same, we have failed to create a new high and low here, and this strong sell just showed that we are coming to this previous zone. So let's go into the weekly. This is the weekly time frame, and I want to spot the immediate swing high and swing low. So this is the immediate swing low, this is the immediate swing high. Price was dabbling into it. Then what do we have? We have price reject here, push ahead, create a new higher high, higher low, expecting a new high to continue, but price failed, came back to cause a new lower low, lower high, push, lower low, lower high, push, and presently we are here. Now in this zone, I was expecting price to push out of this zone before a retest, but price used this zone as a support to go for a retest. Meanwhile, this retest is not visible on a weekly time frame. So let's go into the daily time frame. Now the daily time frame, how did price get to this zone? Price was selling all the way to this zone. Remember, from the weekly we have a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So price need to make a lower high to continue the trend. So price came back for this lower high, and now we are seeing the continuation to form a new lower low. So all the same, this week my expectation for this week is price to form a new lower low on DXY, which is taking out this previous low. So I'm bearish on DXY this week. It might be slow, but all the same we need a bearish close of this previous 97,500. We need to take it out, and we need to look into a new lower price, 97, probably 95, but all the same we are heading down to 89 before we can see price buyback. We need to come down to this zone, and anything can happen, as President Trump has been trying to push a lot more for DXY to be strong, but a lot of businesses has been going in, and a lot of funds has been going into DXY, into the United States of America rather, and I guess because of that, investors will still come back to buy DXY, but for now investors are trying as much as possible to invest in other businesses, other bonds, other commodities, and the nature of DXY presently is bearish, and investors are selling DXY up to this zone. The percentage of DXY getting to this zone is just a 50-50. I'm not probably going to say it's going to get to this zone. We might have a rejection here. If we have a rejection here and price turns around, it means price is going back up. So it's a two-way thing, but all the same, from the structure of the market, we see that we are bearish and we are following the structure. So let's go down to 4 hour where we see some sweet setups. Now when price got here, we already know we are looking for sell setup here, and price blown out of this zone, didn't give us the setup, so we were just like, okay, let's see what happened. But what did we have? We have a drop, price drop, which signifies that, wow, if price could drop, we're expecting a retracement back here. And when price came here, price closed the market here. So price closed here on Friday. You can see it's 16th. Price closed Friday here. So sometimes I like my SL to probably be here or probably here, but most times I like it around this area to cover up for necessary damages. Yeah, so this would have been the first entry. Mind you, I didn't get inside here, but this would have been a good entry. Why didn't I enter here? I love to see formations of two rejections in my entry, and I didn't see any formation here. More so, this candle didn't really close lower than this one. Would have given me an evening start to enter. It was at least about 50% of the candle, so I was just trying not to gamble it. I want to have a clear confirmation before I could say I'm going in, but because I didn't have a clear confirmation, I couldn't take this sell. So I already knew when we have a drop, a retracement, we're expecting another drop. So, but this drop here, after this candle closed below this 4-hour zone, I was interested in seeing how price will react. So price came, gave us this first rejection, 1, 2, 3, evening star. Okay, let's see. Price came back to retest and gave us this 1, 2. I'm so happy with this last candle close, so I bumped into it. My stop loss the overall high here, and markets boom, 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 boom. Market came here, retested, which is normal because we have this to be here now. So we needed a retest to continue, but I didn't see that. I was just focused on this. But it was until when price now started coming back, I was like, what's going on again? I was just saying, okay, let's see what will happen if we get another entry here, but price didn't get here, and price gave this candle. I was like, no, maybe he wants to come back and retest this zone. I didn't go in. I just left the candle, and price melt and break out of this weekly zone. When price break out of this weekly zone, I knew that, okay, we are not coming back into this zone. So I moved my stop loss into break even. And now we're expecting the same formation here now. So this drop is supposed to drop down all the way here before we see price push. So this week I'm expecting price to sell off, or probably we can have something like this, 1, 2, we can have 1, 2, continue, then price will still come back. But for now, I'm overall bearish on DXY for this week, and I'm looking to sell DXY a lot more so. If we are selling DXY with regards to gold, with regards to BTC, with regards to GU, EU, AU, NU, we already know that they are likely correlated, and if we're selling this guy, we should be buying those guys. So let's go into the next pair. I'm trying to clean up. Let me clean up, and let's go into the next pair, which is gold. So let's go to gold on the monthly, and let's just summarize what we have for gold on the monthly. Now I pick my entry, my top analysis here, because I don't want to go into this past data. I don't need those past data. What I need now is a higher high, higher low. We stretched out to form a new higher high, and price gave a body close up below, but the wick closed above. So I believe this candle is going here to see if we break out or possibly reject from here, because we have an high high here, we have an high high here also, but the candle did not finish closing at that zone. So I'm expecting candles to close at that zone so that we can know if we are still in or we are not in again. So for now, I'm going to go down into the weekly to see what we have on the weekly. Now on the weekly, what do we have on the weekly? So let's stretch it out. On the weekly we have higher high, higher low, higher high. This candle came back to tap into this higher low, then form a new higher high here. Now all these ones here came back to tap into this zone, and they fulfilled tapping into this zone. So what do we want next? We want price to go higher. Now price for me this week is bullish. So am I expecting price to sell off, to have some weeks in, then probably go up, hopefully, but overall closure for this week is bullish. I'm just expecting to see bullish structure, so I'll be looking for more buys to sells. So let's go down to daily. Now on a daily, when price got here, what happened? When price got to this weekly, what happened? We see price reject here, came back and blew out of it. So this was our first daily zone, because price broke out. We're expecting price to come back to it, but this candle didn't form the coming buy. Instead this candle blew out, but this candle rejects. So this is the second rejection on the daily, but this third day broke out of it, which signifies that the percentage of buyers are more than sellers. So we'll probably see more of buy candles than sell candles. So we have 1, 2, 3 candles for buy, 1 sell, 1 sell. So we're expecting 1, 2, 3 for buy. So the next 3 days should be a buy candle, as I'm expecting. Why? Because this candle closed above this zone again. This candle closed above this zone. So this simply signifies that we should see more buyers. Just the way DXY is selling, we should be looking for more buys on gold. So let's go into 4 hour and let's see what the trend is looking like. Now 4 hour, I have some markups on 4 hour. Why? Because my entries are from 4 hour to 1 hour. And when price got here, we forced this first rejection, this morning star. Price came here, came back and formed the same morning star. If you see this morning star here, it's just the same as the morning star we have on DXY. If you could remember, it's just the same. It didn't close above, but it formed that morning star. So, and it gave a gap. So this morning star here, I really didn't take entry here, but I moved lower to 1 hour. But before we go to 1 hour, let's just see the formation. We have price selling from here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We're expecting price to come back to this zone here to form a lower low. But what did price do? Price formed a lower high still and dropped. It didn't close below, then it formed a higher low. So we're expecting a higher high, and price gave us a higher high, and price pushed higher to form a higher high. Expectation for price to come back to this zone to form a higher low. I was waiting in this zone, but price just gave some confirmation here, and I got entry into this trade also. But I quickly closed the trades because of some weekend because it was Friday and I don't want to hold to the next week. So I got entry here. I didn't get entry here because I couldn't get a good confirmation, but I got entry here. I got entry here again. This was my entry, but I closed around here when I started seeing all this candle, because I was expecting price to come here. But when price gave me this entry, I tapped into it, I got entry, and price came here and started doing this. I didn't wait for this to break out. I closed because I was so interested in price to sell down to this zone. But if price sells down to this zone, price have missed the trend. So because I don't want to fall out of the trend, I quickly follow up with what price is doing, and I just left it for Friday. But this week, Monday, I'll be looking for a possible continuation of these buys. We can have some scenarios. We can have price make some attempts in this zone before pushing up. We can have price come into this trend and start making some adjustment before. So either ways, overall for me this week on gold is bullish. I'm looking for a bullish structure on gold this week. Okay, I think that's that on gold this week. Let's move into the next pair, which is BTC. BTC dealt with me a lot. BTC dealt with me. I don't lie to you guys. This dealt with me around all these areas. Oh my God, this guy showed me Shege Banza around all these areas. So let's go down to monthly and let's see what BTC has for us. Now BTC created a new higher high here, which is higher than this one. Higher low, higher high, higher low here, came back to this resistance on support, and we are moving into a new price range. So expectation for me on BTC is price to get to around 140, 150 before we start seeing the correction again, but this zone is an impulsive buy zone, so we're expecting price to buy up to this zone around 140 to 150. Yeah, so let's go into it and see how we could benefit from this. Now the month has not closed yet, so this is a monthly candle. It has not closed yet, so expectation for me for this month is this candle should close above this previous high. So if this candle closes above this previous high, it just tells me that price is going to continue to sell. But if price close below, that means we might possibly come back a little before pulling up, but whichever ways, we're just going to find a good entry to continue the buy leg. So let's go into the weekly and let's see what we have on the weekly. Now on the weekly we have when price got here, we have price didn't touch here, price came here and came to this touch. So what we have is price broke out of this structure, and on the norm we should expect a retracement of this structure to continue weekly, but it all depends on what happened here, because this leg we are in is an impulsive leg which is supposed to take price to this next zone. We are not expecting price to cut corners, we're expecting price to push to this next zone. So I'm interested in pushing to the next zone, not retracing back. I'm not interested in the retracement, I'm just looking for a way to push price forward. So okay, so let's go down to daily and let's see what daily has. So when price how did price get here? Price was bullishly going. This is the previous higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Then we have this strong evening star here at this monthly zone. Why do we have that? We don't need that candle in that zone. This was on Friday, and part of some of the news that came out with President Trump. It was part of all the sanctioning and everything on President Trump on Saturday, which was still in the bullish trend. So for me, I'm looking at it like we might possibly not see a lot of rejection, but all the same, this just rejected the monthly zone, which might come back to this resistance or this resistance or this resistance. So we have three likely possible zones to buy from, but until one fails, second fails, then we know that third one should not fail. So let's go into 4 hour. Now 4 hour, I didn't get entry. This entry is on 1 hour, so now 4 hours, because I just want to get a little precise entry. So last week I was in this corrective phase, and this corrective phase was so bloody, so bloody, so bloody. The corrective phase was really irritating. I got an entry around here. I possibly closed probably around here. Price came back again. I got an entry again around here. I closed around here. This third one I didn't enter because when I saw it I was not interested again. I've lost all I've lost all interest on the buyers because I was seeing a lot of candles sellers coming in. I think there was some funny news around these areas that made those candles close easily. So I was not really interested in this area, so I left the price and price pushed. But for me, I took all the entry on 1 hour, so let's go down to 1 hour to see what we have presently. What I see on 1 hour is the same thing I was seeing all this while. I see the price breakout of this monthly zone, and price was using this monthly zone as a buy order to keep going higher, but all of a sudden we have some massive drop. I think it was Trump news gave this massive drop, and price broke out of this monthly zone back. For price to break back, it's not a good sign for me. For price to break back, I wasn't happy that price broke back because that signifies that we are part-time going to be selling. So when price broke back, this was the first entry, second entry, bam, price didn't come down to touch here, and price started rejecting all the way from here, then close up everything, close up. That's fine. I think we didn't bank much on that. Let me see. Yeah, I think probably bank up to probably this place also. I think around there. The SL was around here. The major target was here like this, but quickly closed when I realized that a lot of rejection was happening here. Okay, maybe price wants to come back here to sell, so I started following up on what price was doing, following up. When price broke out of this corrective trend, I got an entry. I think it was yesterday night, yeah, this 10 p.m. I remember I entered into this trade yesterday and I saw a few profit. I didn't take it. I moved my stop loss into break even and I went to sleep. I woke up, I realized that this candle came back to reject, push me out, and continue its order. And presently this present order should give an entry around this area. Yeah, it should give around this area because this is the previous support zone. It should turn into a resistance, so we should see sell setup in this area again. And also, if I want to use my trend, I'll say my trend like this. Okay, and this should only be for this time frame and lower. We should see a rejection around this area. If I see any rejection, I can still take the sell though and just target the low of this place. But I'm looking to see price. The major target here is this zone here, and price has already met its course on that zone. So I was just looking like if we still see some sell setup, we can still take it, and if we don't see any sell setup, we just manage the one we have for now. Just manage the one we have, to be a good one. Okay, I think that's that on BTC, but remember we are still bullish, just that I want to see price get to this zone first before I see if price will reject. If price doesn't reject, know that we are going in to the next zone. we are going in down to this next zone, so we look for more sales, we wait for a break and a retest, then continuation. But if price reject this zone, then we are, remember, we are aiming for 150. Yeah, this is where we are looking into. Okay, I think that's that on BTC. So I move on to the next one, which is, do I want to do US30 now? It's long I trade US30, but anyways, let's go into US30 because a lot of my friends trade US30 and they also love to see what I have about US30. I used to trade US30 some time ago, but I was just stuck with BTC and gold. I just fell in love with BTC, gold and oil, and I spend more time on them than on US30. But all the same, I still analyze US30 because it's in a trend. US30 has always been in a trend, and I've seen a lot of big guys in the industry trade US30. They love US30, and US30 has given them a lot of money. So because of that, I still add US30 to my pair, and I still look at it once in a while to see what US30 is doing. But all the same, let's go into US30 now and let's see what US30 have for us. So US30 is bullishly inclined. We have higher highs, higher low, higher highs, higher low. Now this zone is a two ways. Now I always like my candles on the monthly to close at my zone. I don't like this this candle week on the monthly. This just tells me that there's liquidity at this bottom. This just tells me there's liquidity because I assume that there's nothing here, and this is where price is presently. So price is possibly coming down to come and fill up all these candles wick before moving upward. But all the same, let's see what we have on the chart. Now we have two things on this chart. Because of that, we have two things, which is when price got here, what do we have? And that's where I had to do two analysis here. Now what's the first analysis is when price was here, price creates a bearish structure, which is lower low, which we're expecting a lower high to continue this sell. And when price got here, price created a bullish structure, higher high, we are expecting a higher low to continue the structure. So in this zone we have two possible scenario. That was, but I just put one scenario, but all the same we have two possibilities because this is a clear sell setup, which price closed with this candle, and now we are seeing a bearish. So let's go to the weekly. Now on daily, sorry, if we look, we see that we have if I hide, let me hide this one. Let me go back to weekly. I want to hide this one just for this time frame alone so that we can understand what I was saying. Now looking at daily, what do we have here? We have price is currently bearish here, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. This is where things change. Higher low, higher high. So expectation for me here is to see price make continuation, but because of what I said about the monthly candle close, the week and everything, I'm going to be extremely careful with this trade when it gets to this zone. I want a decision from this zone. So let's go into 4 hour to see the 4 hour setup. Now 4 hour setup here, I'm looking for buys, but if buy setup did not confirm, I'm not entering. That's one thing I'm waiting for. If my buy setup is not complete, I'm telling you, I'm not entry. And looking at also the trend, I'm seeing that we possibly are now in a bearish trend if price fail out of this place. So if price should fail this zone, then we should be looking for sell setup. So one thing is sure is if we break out, we'll retest to continue. One thing is sure. So this is just one of the analysis I have in mind for US30, and I'm going to be slightly looking into this formation because I don't want to make any mistake. I want to be precise as possible on the outcome because it's a little bit tricky. I've seen that a lot, and I want to make some comments about it, that a lot of candle closes like that, which should not have been like that, but because of the way the candle is, candle closes like that. But I've seen that happen several times, and I don't really trust it. So I would love candle to close bearish, to close back to this zone, full candle closure, then I know I'm looking for buys. But for now, I'll just patiently see what setup plays out. Is it the buys or the sells? All right, that's that on US30. Let's go into GU. Now GU on the monthly, GU in monthly, what we have, this is the last swing low, swing high, price break. You can see what this price did. Price break, didn't close below. You can see. So immediately we have a morning star taking it back. 1, 2, 3, signifying that we might still revisit this zone. The pressure of the sellers from this zone is not as high enough. So let's go back to weekly and let's see what weekly now. Weekly has 3 orders. Why do you have 3 zones for weekly? Now this is it. Weekly was coming here bearish. We have lower low, lower high, lower low. Price failed to make a lower continuation here, but proceed to give us these guys that killed this previous lower low, signifying that we are going up, and price didn't meet up back to this previous zone. Price just shot up. After shooting up to form a new high, came around this and rejected. Came around this side. You can see a lot of rejection here. It couldn't make a subsequent long leg higher highs, but it did make a new higher highs. Came back and didn't close below this previous one, and still gave us a rejection on this zone again. Rejection. This is where the entry comes in. Bam. There we go in. So price has been bullish, and I know for sure price is coming into this monthly zone around 14200 and 144 and 14. So in that zone, I'm looking at price to take out to come to this zone and give us some cool stuff here. Okay, so let's go into daily and let's see what daily has for us. Okay, so daily is still daily is making sense though. Now this is the last zone, rejected, breakout, form a new higher low, and we are breaking out. So we break out of this zone, and this just signifies that we are possibly continuing the trend. We're possibly continuing what we have here. So we broke out, then we need to form a new higher high. Since we didn't get entry from here, we would have held the entry to this zone, but because we didn't get entry from here, then let's see what we can do around here. So let's go into let's go into 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, what do we have on the 4 hour? Okay, on the 4 hour we have this as the last leg, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price didn't break out of this two, instead price broke out of it, came back to form higher low, higher high, higher low. And presently what I would love to see is that price comes back here to retest this zone. That's what I love to see. Price should come back to retest this zone. If possible, then price should continue on its journey. But whatever it is, let's see how price is going to react to it. We never can say this is how price is going to react, but let's just look into it and see what we have. So no opportunity for us on the 4 hour. So I just will wait for GU to give a retracement for a continuation for now, because presently I don't have anything on GU for entry. I'll just wait for GU to come retest this zone. If GU comes back to retest this zone, fine, I'll be interested in continuing the trend. But for now, I keep my fingers crossed as I look towards what we have and how we'll possibly make it happen. Alright, I think that's that for now, guys. See you in the next one, which is EU. We're almost done. We have one more to go. Okay, EU. Let's go back to EU2 and let's see EU from the bigger view. From the bigger view, we have this is the last swing low, swing high. Price broke the swing low, failed to use it as a resistance. Instead, it was using it as a support. You can see support. It came and collected. So let's go into weekly to see what happened. When price broke, came here, push, came back, push, rejected here, came back, rejected, and now we completed a good move by creating a new high, higher low, which signifies that we are going in for this next man. So we've done this, and we are doing this presently. So let's go into daily to see what we have for the daily. Now daily made this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower, you can see lower high, failed to continue but broke out and retest. So here is a buy setup for people that have seen opportunity. Let's see if we can see opportunity on 4 hour as the market starts. Oh, sorry, I wasn't in this trade though, but I just dropped this setup. Price already give a confirmation of a morning star here on this zone and I've moved away from the 4 hour zone. Let's say this is the 4 hour zone here. This is the H4 zone. So to find another entry would be after price breaks out of here. That's when we can look for another entry on EU. But for now, if EU rejects back into this zone, we'll still look for buy setup to break out. So as much as possible buy setup, we can have 3 buy setups here. After the third one, it's going to fail. So this is the first one, and if it cannot break this, we can still come back and look for another second one to break. If that one doesn't break, then the third one, if it presents, we try. If it doesn't break, don't just go in for the first one, because it's going to sweep everybody out on that first one. So that's that on EU. Let's move to the final one we have for today, which is oil, US oil. Okay, let's go into the monthly. US oil is a little bit rough on the monthly, but with structure we were able to align what we have on US oil. So I'll start US oil from here: swing low, swing high, lower low, lower high. Price failed to continue the lower low and gave us a new higher high, higher low, higher high. So we've moved from bearish to bullish. So we are supposed to buy from here, but price failed and gave us lower low. Price came back for lower high, lower equal low, came back for equal high. Then price finally broke out. So we are out. What do we wait for? Retracement to continue. So that's what we are waiting for on oil. We just use this leg to break out, but on a long, this sell setup is supposed to meet up with this zone, but because it couldn't meet up with this zone, we just take it the way it is. We have 1 2 3 4 5. So let's see price pull back into this zone, then we continue the sell. So let's go into weekly. Now weekly, we've seen two rejection, 1 2, which signify that price is possibly coming back up. So in the weekly, I'll be looking to see buy possibilities back to this zone. Then when we get to this zone, look for sell setups down to this zone. So let's go into daily. I saw something in that weekly now. Okay, I can't put another zone here, it's not possible. So let's go to daily. Now daily, are you serious? I don't have any zone here. That's true. Everything still boils down to the zone here, and it's closer to the zone, so I don't want to put anything. But okay, let's go down to H4. There's nothing on daily zone, so on H4, what do we have? Okay, H4, we have price did higher high, higher low, higher high, higher high, before coming back to reject. And we have a double rejection. We have this first rejection, second rejection, and in fact US oil is still in a very fresh zone for next week. We can still get in early. If it comes down, get in. If you can go into 1 hour to look for a break above this resistance and a retest, you can still find your login into it. But I think so this is the last zone for 1 hour. This is the low, high, price came in. Price has not taken out until price takes out this long 1 hour. Then we'll wait for a retest to continue this zone. This is 1 hour. Then we'll continue this zone on 1 hour. Yes, until we break out, retest, then we'll find another entry on 1 hour. I'm tired, guys. Thank you guys for your time. I love you guys. This is what I have for this week. For the last week of May, DXY, gold, BTC, and everything in one. See you guys next week. Bye for now.